back to another episode of the Business is Pleasure podcast with yourself, co-owner, co-founder of the Clarendon Trading Company, Jonelle Francis, and my little lady, my boo thing, Colette Monique Liebert.
Okay, so just to be clear, I'm also the co-owner and the co-founder.
Oh, I didn't say that. But
I don't know why you left
But I think
out.
they kind of knew that already. When I'm saying co-founder, co-owner, they kind of put two and two together.
Don't make assumptions, okay? So anyways, Colette, how's it going? Let's get started.
That's it?
Don't make it happen again.
My bad. See, she's my boss, guys. Like, my bad. All right? Don't reprimand me or like write me up or anything.
Later.
Okay. What? No later. I don't want
I don't want to embarrass you.
no later. All right, guys. What's going on again? So, the way we always start our podcast off is, how was your week, babe? How was your week?
My week was great. It was fantastic. What's going on?
Don't mind, babe. I gotta get comfortable. Like, can you just go on, please? Stop.
So my week was good.
Haters gonna hate.
Pretty busy trying to get ready for our events because we had kind of like a small break from our events. Like we had one in early June and then we didn't have another one until this past weekend.
Yeah.
So a lot of our stuff was just like selling online. And we're kind of low, to be honest. So I think both of us kind of made it a priority this week to get as much stuff as possible.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which we did. So that was good. Our event was good. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then, yeah, this week I think I was pretty productive. I got a lot of stuff done. I did a lot of like social media stuff that I've been putting off for a pretty long time. But I did it. So I'm proud of
What'd you do?
I posted a lot of the articles.
Yes, you've been saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot more for my like personal Facebook mainly. Like I focused a lot on my personal Facebook to make sure that was. Can you stop doing that?
No, it's fun.
No.
No,
It's
I want
really
to.
annoying.
No, I don't keep doing that. Why don't you make him a bad kid?
Because sometimes you are.
What? You can't just take my toy away.
Because sometimes you are.
Okay, but go on.
Okay, yeah, so I focus a lot on my personal Facebook, my personal Instagram. Not as much my personal Instagram as of yet, but I more so focused on Facebook to kind of just put out a little bit more information. I posted our articles on my personal Facebook through a bunch of groups and stuff like that. I also am leading up to posting our podcast as well on my personal Facebook. So I just did a lot of work in reference to that. So that was good. What about you?
For myself, I had a pretty decent week. I had my exam that came up, and I was kind of disappointed about that. I don't think it went well, but I'm gonna hope for the best, and
Yeah.
we'll see that it worked out. I kind of like didn't go as hard as I should have on my personal stuff. That's why I believe I don't think it worked out as well as I would like. But again, we'll wait and see. For the most part, yeah, I had a good week overall. Like, I had work. We had a long weekend in Canada, so it was kind of a short week for us last week. And yeah, we had the opportunity to go to Ottawa again, one of our favorite events, well, personally mine. I think the more I go to Ottawa, the more I'm kind of like getting more attracted to it, liking it a bit more and everything. And because it's a place where it's not as big as Toronto, but you could tell that the vintage markets there are starting to like really be developed, and people like always gravitate to our stuff, so that makes me like it even more, you know. So for that aspect, I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
But one thing I think about this week that made me realize was that we kind of have to be like a bit more careful in regards to like just curating for events, just to ensure that like, hey, like, do we have the appropriate products? And I think we had the appropriate product for this past season, for this past weekend, but we had it for the wrong season.
But see, the thing is, it's a little bit hard because I think we kind of got caught up in like our online sales. So for example, like crew necks, windbreakers, t-shirts, shorts, they've been doing well online.
Yeah, for sure.
So we kind of assumed that we could go to the event with kind of the same mix of items. But it's not to say that it didn't work. It still did work, but I think we would have done even better if we had like more summer specific things. And I think a little bit of a downfall for us was the fact that the event was located it wasn't an outdoor setting, but it was kind of outdoors. Like it had like an open doors, kind of open
A feel. Had a little outdoor
an
feel.
outdoor feel, you know, like lots of big windows. So people were generally shopping. They were a little bit hot to begin with, so they're not going to be like, yeah, let me get ready for fall and try on this like winter jacket or windbreaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they're already like quite warm, and like realistically, like your average person isn't like a style forecaster. Like your average person isn't shopping for like 3 to 6 months from now.
Oh no.
Like your average person shopping for right now. Like they're like, oh, I'm going out this weekend. What can I find? You know what I mean? Whereas like the people that we kind of interact with through our businesses, they're like, yeah, I'm getting ready for fall. I'm getting ready for winter in like August or in July,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
like that's when you can get the best deal on winter stuff when it's out of season. So
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think as well too is like a lot of people, they're like opportunist shoppers. So like if someone sees like a jacket on a cold day and they don't have one, they'll snatch a jacket up, you
Yeah.
know. But it's like we didn't have as much inventory that would have been relevant for this season, so it kind of limited us on how much we could interact with people and how much people would actually buy from us.
yeah.
So like I did like though how we went about it, because then we implemented our whole little what's that thing that we had on the floor?
We have
our little promotion,
We're
right?
doing this. We've been doing it for a couple events now, and it's actually been working pretty good. So at the beginning of the event, we have like just kind of like dead stock stuff that isn't really moving very much for us. We've had it for like more than like say like 3 months or so.
Yeah.
We basically put it in. We spread it out on this like pretty big arrangement on the floor.
Like a tarp or whatever.
Yeah, like a tarp on the floor, and we do like usually 1 for 15 or 2 for 20. So it's pretty good. Like you can get like 2 pairs of like vintage Levi's denim shorts for $20, which is a
Yeah.
good deal, right?
Yeah, but like for us, the profit margins aren't the best, but it's really good because it allows the customer to feel as if like they're getting a good deal, which they are.
Which they are, and they're getting something of value.
Yeah, and it allows us at the same time to get rid of a inventory that's been around for a bit longer
Yeah.
than we'd like.
Yeah.
So like I think overall it's a win-win, and like with this past event, it was nice though because it allowed us to more so like practice on being like, hey, by the way, how are you doing today? But this promotion is going on as well too, right? So it allowed us to at least like do those things as well, and made us again realize like, hey, like we should be more specific on the items that we're gonna be bringing, because the stuff that we brought was like totally fire, but like 80% of it was like more so fall/winter.
Yeah.
That would have been like perfect.
One customer came up and was like, what did she say?
She was like, oh, is this like their fall/winter collection? I was like, oh my god.
We're like, no.
Oh my god.
Well, yes, but not only.
Like no.
But yeah, so yeah, we've been doing that kind of promotion for the majority of our events to kind of just move product, and also move a lot of stuff that we may not necessarily have had it for an extended period of time, but it's stuff that people don't like buying online. Like for example, like as a shopper, like I usually won't buy something that's fitted online. So like I won't buy like Levi's denim shorts usually, because I know for the most part like I'm either gonna have to get them altered a little bit or a lot. So I would rather have the ability to try them on, so I can know, okay, do I just need to like get the sides taken in, or do these shorts not even work at all? You know what I mean? So like I think having that little promotion for not necessarily items that we've had for an extended period of time, because like Levi's shorts, a lot of times we don't have them for that long,
Yeah.
but it is good to move certain product that doesn't necessarily move as easy online.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Especially like some items that maybe have like small deficiencies, that allows us to like speak with the customer, like, hey, if this has this,
Yeah,
we
just
need
like
to offer
point
you a
it
better
out.
price about it, or you know, just take it as is.
Yeah,
It still
if
needs
you
love
want.
too. Still needs love too.
Exactly. And then also in reference to that little promotion that we do, we also have a fill a bag deal at like the last like 2 hours of most events. We do this, so we have like medium to I'd say medium plastic bags, and whatever you can fill into the bag, which is like you should be able to fill a lot if you like roll it up.
Yeah, at least like 5 to 7 things, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Depending on
the
the item.
size. Yeah, depending on the size. So we do fill a bag for $25, and a lot of people really like that as well.
Yeah, for sure, right? And again, it's like we're bringing value to the customers because like they're getting an amazing deal for all these small items, and it's good too, right? Because sometimes it's like resellers that come around us and they can find like an item for a really good price, and then they can flip it to their clientele as well too, right?
Yeah.
So overall, we're just trying to, you know, give back like Kris Kringle. So like since we've passed the halfway point for our business now, I think it's important that we kind of like take a look back the last 6 months And what are some things that you really didn't like that we did with the business? And what are some things that you think worked really well? Because I think like 6 months is a really good test period. So it gives us ideas like, okay, like what worked for us for the first half of the year?
Yeah, I think the one thing that can stick out to me that I didn't necessarily like, I would say, is just like a little bit, some of the areas that we were a little bit like stagnant in. So I think like we were using our need or excuse for perfection as like a reason to not do certain things.
Sorry, guys. So I have this quote that I coined, and it says, "Perfection is an excuse not to get anything done." And I think that's what you were trying to imply, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, with our social media and our marketing and stuff, I felt like a lot of the times we were like, no, we can't do this because our website needs to be perfect, or our Instagram needs to be perfect, or our Facebook needs to be perfect. But it's like realistically, we're not in a market where people are requiring perfection. It's not like we're like if you're in a different industry, like say you're in like the makeup industry, or like I don't know, a certain area in like high fashion or something where like people expect things to like aesthetically look
Like
a
so
certain
pristine
way.
and perfect and
Yeah, but we're in vintage clothing. Like we like hop through piles of like basically like not garbage, but we hop through piles in a warehouse for our clothing. Like it's not like people don't expect the clothing to be perfect. So like why do we expect our presentation of it to be perfect? You
And
know
I
what
think
mean?
that was our issue before because
Yeah.
we were trying to like compare our company to something that wasn't, which was like a
Yeah.
high-end company that's been around for 100 years,
Yeah.
like and I think like the last 6 months kind of made us realize like we don't need to do everything perfectly because we work on trial and error. Okay, let's say we can, I'm not saying that we can just throw anything out there, but I'm saying that like let's throw it out there, see what works and what's not. We'll cut off the fat, and then we'll like we'll make sure it's better for next time.
And at the end of the day, regardless of like your own perceptions or like feelings towards something, the market's gonna tell you whether it's working or not.
100%.
So like you may put something out there that you think is perfect, and the market may not like it. So if the market doesn't like it and it's not generating you profits or sales, then it's not beneficial at all. It doesn't matter if it's perfect.
No,
You know.
100%.
So like at the end of the day, like I think that was one of our biggest barriers in like the first half of this year. And I think like in the past like 2 months or 3 months maybe even, like we've kind of like gotten a little better and like worked towards kind of like getting over that. But I think in the next half of the year we're gonna have a lot more like movement and a lot more growth, just simply based off of the fact that we're not so stagnated by our own need for perfection.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool too because like what made me kind of get over the idea like everything needs to be perfect was just like, again, I'm not an original, I'm not creative, I just like look at other people's stuff and just copy them. So it's like when I see other more successful companies, whether they're in our industry or like they're in parallel industries like ours, doing like just quick, straight to the point things, it's like, why are we worried about like trying to have a whole director, writers,
Yeah.
and like everyone like done up till a 9 in makeup?
And I
when we
think
should be doing what works for our clientele. And I
Yeah.
think like that's one of our major issues. We're more so concerned about like what we think looks the best. It's like, what does the client want? What does the client want?
that too. And I think also maybe in the year prior or months prior, we were very caught up in like our own head, and we were almost like not like self-sabotage, but we kind of like had this view that like people would be so critical of like whatever we're doing, or like people would look at our stuff and be like, oh, this looks like we just like I feel like we thought of ourselves bigger than what we actually were, because realistically, like if we put something out, people are gonna look at it, scroll past. Like no one's really gonna like take time out of the day to be like,
Yo, fam, did you
Yeah.
see their stuff?
yeah,
Yo, their page is swag.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like at the end of the day, like I don't want to say we're nobody, because that's not really a nice thing to say.
But like
you know
in-
what
in-
I'm saying.
But I think in the reality of it, I wouldn't say that we're nobody. We're not in a position to feel as if one error is going to be so detrimental that we can't make another move.
Not even that. We're not in the position to like garner so much attention. Like we're not in the position for people to really even care that much. Like you know what I mean? Like if we put out something that like say wasn't perfect and we weren't like 100% happy with it, it's not like the world's gonna stop and people are gonna be like, did you see that?
These guys?
Yeah, like no one's gonna do that. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, that was mediocre. Scroll past, like whatever. Like you know what I mean, and then you do better the next time. So I think like we were just way too caught up in our own like egos, I guess I could say, and we thought like just too much into it. You know?
No, definitely, definitely. And I think like going forth in the next 6 months that's gonna happen within this year, we constantly have to like keep that in the back of our minds and understand that like, yo, let's not get caught up in this idea of perfection because one, it's not real, and two, our clients are not asking for that. Our clients are not asking for us to be perfect. Like they understand that like this is just like an e-commerce business that they like the stuff and like that's what we gotta focus on. Like, yo, what does the customer want? Let's not focus on like what do we think is cool, what do we think is nice, how should we present it. We should always be like, yo, like how would our customer like for us to talk to them?
Yeah, or
Like, you know?
see, or how would they like to see our product? How would they like to shop for our product?
Yeah.
How would they like to interact with us? Like that's basically it. It's not, honestly, it's not. It's really not that complicated.
It's not, but I think like sometimes what makes it so complicated is when you kind of have two viewpoints. You kind of have your own, and then you also have the market's viewpoint as well.
Yeah,
And
but-
our problem is that we're constantly looking at our own instead of focusing on what's the market viewpoint. Because the market doesn't care what you think, to be honest.
Exactly.
The market does not care at all.
And as we just said, we just need to eliminate our perspective and just think about what the market wants. And when you do that, it's not hard at all.
Yeah, because like when you say it like that, it's like we kind of had our head up our asses.
Yeah, we did.
We're like, yo, like, nah, we know what we're doing. It's like, no, the market will tell you. You don't need to do more or less. Just focus on the market.
Yeah.
Just literally focus on the market.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, let's stop beating ourselves up for 2 seconds. And like, so what did you like? What we did for the first 6 months? Can I start this portion off? If you don't mind. Okay, so for me personally, one thing I was really excited about, just the other day, I was looking at some of our goals that we had written down, and one of them was a monetary amount, hoping that we'd pass that. Blew that out the water. Blew that out the water already halfway through the year. That's one, and then the second one is just how often we've actually been going on tour for, because we were only supposed to do one event a month. And already, I think we're maybe at mid-20s. So we're supposed to have 12 for the whole year. And we're already at like 23, 22. So like that, I really like, because that's us listening to the market. That's us realizing like, hey, like these events are working for us. Let's constantly go to them and let's do more and more and more and do bigger and bigger. And it's kind of cool too, because like I have this like little joke that I'm saying is that like we're at the point where we do so much traveling and touring. We tour more than like, we tour on average, we tour more than like your average like hip hop artist in Toronto. We're artists, babe. We're virtually artists. Look how often we're touring.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Like we're global.
You like kind of started laughing at your own joke before you even said the punchline.
I know, but cause like it's that funny. I couldn't hold it.
It was like a 7.
Don't do that, babe. Honestly, it was funnier last night. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that.
So I would say my high point for the year, or like halfway point of this year so far, would just be like how we've been interacting with our market a little bit better. Like I felt like when we first started this, like we were kind of like little fish in a big sea, you know what I mean? Like no one really knew about us. We didn't really know about anyone else. Like we were just kind of trying to get our bearings within the market community, the vintage community, which I feel like we've successfully done. Obviously, there's still a lot more growth and a lot more that we can do still, but I think one thing that I am proud of is that like when we go to events, like people remember us. People are like, oh, were you at this event? Yeah, I remember. I saw you there. Like we're like building reoccurring and like frequent customers, which I think is really good. People will come back to us and be like, hey, like I was looking for you at this event. Where were you? Like, sorry, we were at another event. Like, you know, like people are actually
I love that.
are actually like searching for us. Or like when I'll go and meet up with a customer that say bought something online, I'll be like, yeah, here's our card, like follow us on Instagram. They'll be like, oh, I already follow you. I first saw you at like the Toronto Vintage Clothing Show, for example, or whatever, you know? So it's a good feeling just to know that we're building like a client base, and we're building, you know, frequent customers that are returning to us and, you know, always asking for whatever products we're supplying at the
And it's
time.
kind of crazy that you bring up the whole idea of returning customers, because there's like this principle, I forget what it is, it's like 80% of your sales are gonna come from 20% of your customers. So it's kind of nice to see that like we're taking the time to build that client base, because without them we're not going to be able to have a successful business. And I think one thing that like really hit me as soon as you said that, we're building our client base. Like, they didn't just come out of nowhere.
No.
This isn't like a get rich quick scheme. This doesn't happen in a year. This doesn't happen in 2 years.
Yeah.
We're about to do our 3-year anniversary, and it's kind of nice just when you look at the contrast to how the business was like 3 years ago up until this point.
Way different.
There were points where we were both like, yo, why are we even doing this? Like, there's no point. Like, we're getting like X amount of sales in this amount of time. Like, is this even worth it?
Yeah.
But now we're at the point where we're like, hey, like, hopefully this can be our careers now. This can be the business that we pass on to our kids or something like that as well too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that like we've reached a point where like we're growing within the business and we're growing with the business.
And I think like once you put things into perspective in that aspect, it really changes a lot. Like sometimes when I think about the business and I'm like, I'm trying to create something that I'm going to pass down to my kids, like it ups the ante in terms of like the level of attention and the level of effort I put into it. You know what I mean? Because it's something tangible now that I can actually pass on, and I want to be able to pass on something that's growing and that's profitable and that's building on itself. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, it's just like another thing to take into consideration.
Yeah. And if you kids are watching this like 30 years from now, you better fucking enjoy what we did for you guys, all right?
Okay.
I'm joking. We love you guys, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Because you know how kids can be like really ungrateful nowadays, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So you gotta let them know.
Yeah.
Freaking kids.
So speaking of our halfway point, going into the next half of the year, what do you think are some of our goals for the fall? Or what do you think? What are your goals for the fall?
For fall, I really want to focus on literally pumping money into marketing. So like we know that we have the marketing system down now. So to keep that system going, we just have to facilitate it with money. So like a lot of money pumped into IG, giving away a lot of free products, more so the vintage stuff, you know. Giving away a lot of vintage clothing so we can help with promotions through influencers, a lot of Facebook ads, a lot of Facebook marketing as well. So I really want to focus this next 6 months onto just being every and anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want people to be able to like really know us. And the good thing about Gary Vee, what he says though, he says the good thing about the internet right now is that Instagram and Facebook marketing, they're really cheap. But I don't think that should stop us from doing maybe like some print ads. Not as much, but just a few. Maybe if we got like some posters, posted them downtown or something like that, you know what I mean? Just to try to do, because remember, like a lot of times where we are online, other parts of our audience may not be there because maybe they don't have access to those things, or maybe they just don't know, you know what I mean? So like, because I'm sure like, there's a reason why like people still do print ads. Of course, it's probably not as successful, but it's still relevant to a certain degree, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we like put like 10% of our marketing there, but like, you know, we'll try something. We'll put a couple $100, $20.
I would say that it would make more sense to do print ads if it was in relation to like a specific event. So, for example, I don't know, somewhere where a demographic is. So let's say we went to the Toronto Beer Market that they always have every year, and we handed out like flyers for like our website or like our.
Or we paid someone to be like, you'll handle these flyers for us at this event.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be.
Whatever it is.
But it has to be very targeted. I don't think it would be beneficial to us to just go downtown and like hand out random things anywhere or like put signs up, because like realistically, like who reads that? And when I'm walking downtown and someone gives me something, like on occasion I'll take it just to be polite, and I usually just fold it up and put it in my purse and then throw it away like a month later.
I'm not saying that I know how we'd use print ads, but what I'm saying is that there's still some relevancy with using them. So if we can find a unique way to use them to allow us to like get our name out there more, to focus on our branding and things like that, like why not, you know?
Yeah, no, I never said that it wasn't
yeah,
relevant.
That's all I'm saying. Like the example I gave, maybe that wasn't the best. But like for instance, like let's say like we talk to like one of those like local newspapers, and they're like, okay, we'll pay like $100 to put our ad in there for the next like month or so or whatever, you know what I mean? And if they have like 2,000 readers a month or whatever, I think that could be beneficial. I don't think it's going to be as successful as Facebook or Instagram marketing, but I think for branding, for like putting yourself in different places, I think that's always important.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's something that we should do on like a trial and error basis, like we do everything else.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not. To be honest with you, I don't even know if we should do it or not. But I think it's something that I don't think we would be sad of losing $200 over print ads, and like, you know what I mean, trying to do something.
No, we wouldn't, but like we'd have to do it in a strategic way, obviously, like you said.
Of course, but any marketing, right? I wouldn't want to just go right now on Facebook and just press click and start doing Facebook ads. No, we'd have to sit down and figure out target audiences and all that stuff, right? That's anything, right? I'm not saying tomorrow, like, yeah, let's just do this. Like come on, don't do that to me. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that.
So I would say my goal for fall is similar to yours, to be honest.
Can you have your own goal, please?
Honestly, you went first, so you took my.
But you went first last time. I didn't take your stuff.
Yeah,
so
so I'm supposed to just change up my goal just because you
no,
said
like
it too?
just be creative. Like come up with your own goal. I'm the one that steals stuff. You don't steal ideas.
My
I steal
goal.
ideas. Okay, go on.
Okay, so my goal is.
Yeah, teeth.
Anyways, my goal is to focus on our marketing. But in reference to that, I want us to get really good at having an understanding of how we can market not only Clarendon Co., but market ourselves for the betterment of our business.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've talked about this before, but I think like there's ways that I can market myself that will bring attention and generate money for Clarendon Co. and vice versa. Same with you. You know what I mean? Like I think we haven't really capitalized off of each other as much as we should.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we don't.
Our own personal brands.
Yeah, we don't use our own personal brands to promote the business as much as we should. I personally feel like I could even like not even like online marketing, but I could even just like talk about Clarendon Co. more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas there's situations that I get in when I just don't necessarily bring it up, but I could. You know what I mean? So I just want to get more comfortable at showcasing what it is that I do every day a little bit more.
You've been doing this for like 3 years. You're not comfortable with that yet?
I am, but I'm not. But like, I'm not like a showy person. Like, I'm not the type of person to be like, look at my life and like come walk along.
But
my days
why do you
with
feel
me.
as if like you have to be that type of person though?
Because of the time that we live in. I'm building a business. I'm trying to get people to look at me, bring attention towards me, bring attention towards my business. I can't do that by sitting in a corner and being quiet.
No, I think that's very true. But at the same time, if you're not that type of person to be like outspoken on social media, to be like so flamboyant and like crazy or whatever, you don't have to force yourself to be that person.
No.
One second. I think you are doing that with your personal brand by simply doing this podcast. And like what you said, eventually you're going to be posting it through your own personal stuff.
No,
right?
I never once said that I wanted to be flamboyant. All I said was that I just simply need to talk about it more.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like you are doing that by doing the podcast, by writing articles, by.
I'm just saying I could be doing it more. I don't do it as much as I could. I'm not gonna be like a character on social media because I that's just not who I am. But like I'm just saying when it comes to like my personal brand and like my online presence, I can do more than what I already am doing. So that's my goal for the second half of the year.
And I think right now, like the way your brand is going, you're probably more so focused on your business brand. Because like your business brand in a way is kind of like intertwining with the personal brand, right?
My personal brand is my business brand.
Right? So like that's one thing you can also like work on as well. I think regardless though, like you're gonna be fine. And it's like trial and error. Just try this stuff like what we've been saying. See what works for you. See
And
what
that's what
gets
I'm
you most
saying.
clicks.
Like I just need to focus on getting a little bit more out of my comfort zone to do the things that not that I'm uncomfortable with, but I don't care to do it. But I know that it benefits the business in one way or another, so I just need to get comfortable.
Yeah, if it benefits the business, it benefits both of us too, right? So it's like
Obviously.
it kind of makes sense that we do whatever's best.
Exactly.
Whatever's best.
And then another goal for the second half of the year, I want to focus more on finding like alternative sources of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that we've gotten really good at finding warehouses and stuff that we can get inventory for a better price. But I want to go back to like shopping at like things like Value Village and stuff like that. Even though their prices are a little bit more expensive, it still allows us to make a profit margin and get access to new things.
Yeah, most definitely. And like it never hurts too, right? It never hurts.
Yeah.
But okay, on that note, was there anything else that you want to add on before we head out of here?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, thank you so much for sitting with us. Hopefully we didn't bore you too much, but please don't forget to like and share so we know that you care. All right, guys, until next